Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of English Unlocked. I'm Jake, here with the always curious Nina, and today we are diving into the topic that makes a lot of learners sweat: how to really learn English grammar and actually enjoy it.
You're right, Jake. Grammar is like the broccoli of language learning. Everyone says it's good for you, but most people would rather skip it. Why is grammar so intimidating for learners?
That's a great analogy, Nina. I think it's because grammar feels like a giant puzzle with way too many pieces, tenses, articles, prepositions. It can feel overwhelming, especially if you try to learn it all at once. But the trick is, you don't need to know everything perfectly to start speaking well.
I love that. So, let's start with the basics. What's the first step if someone wants to actually get better at grammar? Where do you even begin?
Start with the most common structures. For example, focus on present simple and past simple tenses. These cover so much everyday conversation. Imagine you're building a house. You need to lay a strong foundation before worrying about fancy decorations. Master the basics, and the rest will come more naturally.
Okay, so let's say I'm a beginner. Should I memorize all the rules, or is there a smarter way to approach it?
Memorizing rules can help, but it's not the only way, and honestly, it can be boring. Instead, notice patterns. Listen to how people speak in movies or podcasts, and see if you can spot when they use certain structures. For example, I go to work every day. That's present simple. I went to the store yesterday. That's past simple. Patterns stick in your brain better than isolated rules.
That's interesting. So, it's like learning to ride a bike. You don't memorize the physics. You just practice and figure out what feels right?
Exactly. You might fall off a few times, but you get better with practice. And if you make a grammar mistake, most native speakers will still understand you.
Speaking of mistakes, I feel like a lot of people are afraid of making them. How can learners stop worrying so much about getting every sentence perfect?
Fear of mistakes is real, but here's the thing. Mistakes are proof you're learning. When I was learning Spanish, I once mixed up embarazada with embarrassed. Turns out, embarazada means pregnant. My friends laughed, but I never forgot that lesson. So laugh off your mistakes and remember, they're your best teachers.
That's hilarious. So, when it comes to grammar, what's the next big thing after tenses? What should learners focus on?
After tenses, articles are a big deal. Those pesky and the, they don't exist in many languages, so it can be tricky. But instead of memorizing every rule, look for the most common uses. For example, a dog is any dog. The dog is a specific one you both know about. Try to notice these in real-life examples.
So, like, I saw a cat on the street versus I adopted the cat from the shelter. That sort of thing?
Exactly. The first is any random cat. The second is a specific one. If you pay attention while reading or listening, you'll start to see these patterns everywhere.
Okay, let's get into a sticky one: prepositions. In, on, at. These always confuse people. Any tips?
Prepositions, the classic troublemakers. My favorite way to learn them is through phrases, not rules. For example, we say in the morning, on Monday, at night. If you memorize the whole phrase, you'll naturally use the right preposition. Trying to figure out the rule for every case will drive you nuts.
That's such a relief. I remember learning at the bus stop and in the car and just thinking, why? But after a while, it just sounds right.
Exactly. Your brain starts to recognize what sounds right the more you hear it. And if you do get it wrong, it's usually not a big deal.
What about word order? English sentences have a specific structure, but it can be so different from other languages.
Yes, English usually follows the subject-verb-object pattern. I eat pizza. That's simple enough, but questions and negatives trip people up. For example, do you like pizza? We add do at the beginning. Or negatives. I don't like broccoli. It's like a dance. Once you get the steps, you can improvise.
So, you're saying if I want to ask, does she play tennis? I just remember to use does for questions?
Right, and for negatives, she doesn't play tennis. The verb stays in the base form, no plays. It's a small detail, but it makes a big difference.
Let's talk about practicing grammar. What are some fun or creative ways to actually use grammar instead of just reading about it?
Great question. One way is to write short stories or journal entries using new grammar points. Or try grammar games online. There are tons. Even better, record yourself speaking, then listen and see if you use the grammar correctly. You can even turn it into a challenge with friends. Who can use the most past tense verbs in a story?
Oh, I love a good challenge. What about speaking practice? Is it okay to focus on speaking first, or should learners master writing and reading grammar before talking?
Speak as soon as you can. Speaking helps you internalize grammar much faster. Think about kids, they start talking way before they can write. If you wait to be perfect, you'll never start. So, talk to yourself, join language exchange groups, or just narrate your day out loud.
That sounds like a great way to build confidence. But what if someone doesn't have anyone to practice with?
No problem. Technology is your friend. You can use language exchange apps, online forums, or even AI chatbots. Also, shadowing, listening to a sentence, and repeating it aloud is super effective. You can do that with YouTube videos or podcasts like ours.
Let's switch gears. What about more advanced grammar, like conditionals? They seem complicated, but are they really?
Conditionals sound scarier than they are. Start with the basics. If it rains, I'll stay home. That's the first conditional, real situations. Then, if I had $1 million, I would travel the world. That's the second conditional, imaginary situations. Practice with simple examples and build up from there.
Okay, let's play a quick game. I'll say a situation, and you tell me what kind of conditional it is. Ready?
That's zero conditional, talking about general truths. If slash when X happens, Y happens. Second conditional, imaginary or unlikely situations.
You nailed it. I can see how practicing with examples makes it less intimidating.
And you don't need to master every conditional right away. Start with the ones you use most.
What about passive voice? That's another thing people struggle with.
Passive voice is when the object of the sentence becomes the subject. For example, the cake was eaten by Jake. Use it when the action is more important than who did it. It's common in news reports. The law was passed yesterday.
So if I say, my bike was stolen, I don't know who took it, but the fact that it's gone is what matters.
Exactly. And sometimes we skip the by part if it's not important. Like, a mistake was made. No need to say who.
How about relative clauses? Those, who, which, that, things can get confusing.
Good one. Relative clauses add extra information. The book that I bought is amazing. That I bought tells us more about the book. My tip? Keep your sentences short at first, then build up. And remember, you can often leave them out. The book is amazing.
So, the man who lives next door is friendly. That's a relative clause, right?
Yeah. And if you drop the clause, it's just the man is friendly. Easy.
I love these practical tips. Let's talk about one more tricky area, modal verbs. Can, could, should, must. How can learners get comfortable with these?
Modal verbs are all about attitude, possibility, permission, obligation. For example, can for ability, I can swim. Should for advice, you should try this podcast. Practice using them in real-life situations. The more you use them, the more natural they feel.
That's true. And sometimes you can mix them up and sound funny, like, I must go instead of I must go. I've heard that a lot.
Exactly. Modals are always followed by the base form of the verb no to. So, must go, should eat, could try. A classic mistake, but easy to fix once you notice it.
Jake, we just got a message from one of our listeners, Maria from Brazil. She asks, how do I know when to use some and any? I always mix them up.
Great question, Maria. Some is usually used in positive sentences. I have some friends. Any is for negatives or questions. Do you have any brothers? Or, I don't have any money. Picture it this way. Some is friendly and positive. Any is a bit more uncertain or negative.
So, if I'm offering someone cookies, I'd say, would you like some cookies? But if I'm asking in a shop, do you have any bread?
Perfect. And if you forget, don't worry, people will still understand you.
All right, Jake, it's time for our favorite segment, Funny Language Fails. What's the funniest grammar mistake you've ever heard?
Oh, I've got a good one. A student once wrote, I am interested in English. She meant, I am interested in English. But we joked that she must be a very interesting person. Tiny grammar changes can make a big difference.
That reminds me of when someone said, he looked like my mother. I almost said, your mother must be very handsome. It's those small details, right?
Exactly. But hey, laughter is the best teacher. If you can laugh at your mistakes, you'll remember them forever.
So true. Before we wrap up, what are your top 3 takeaways for mastering English grammar?
1. Focus on patterns, not just rules. 2. Practice in real-life situations. Write, speak, listen. 3. Don't fear mistakes. They're your secret superpower.
And I'll add, keep it fun, get creative, and don't forget to celebrate your progress. Learning grammar doesn't have to be boring.
Absolutely. If today's episode helped you, hit that follow button, share us with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss a tip. And let us know your favorite grammar fail stories. We love hearing from you.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Keep practicing, keep laughing, and remember, grammar is your friend, not your enemy.